2024 MLB World Series begins this evening on Fox. All right. We have the New York Yankees taking on the Los Angeles Dodgers. The Dodgers' last World Series title coming in 2020, and the Yankees' last World Series title coming in 2009. This is the 11th matchup of these two franchises. We go back to 1947 for the first one. This was the Yankees winning in 7 games. Bucky Harris, there's a trivia question, was the manager of the Yankees that year, and he won. This was still the record for the longest span between World Series titles for a manager. He won the World Series as a manager for the Washington Senators in 1924. And then 23 years later, he led the Yankees to the world title. This was Jackie Robinson's first year in the major leagues, so it was historic, and it's probably most known for the Al Gianfrido incredible catch in Game 6 to force a Game 7. The "Oh Doctor" call from Red Barker, the announcer, the radio announcer, and it's where Chris Berman got his back thing from. Incredible play off robbing Joe D of an extra base hit. The two franchises met again in 1949. This time the Yankees coming out victorious for their 5th. In 5, they won in 5 that year. This series featured 11 Hall of Famers on both rosters including I think an umpire. Phil Rizzuto, Yogi Berra, Joe DiMaggio all had pretty bad series in this one, but it was Bobby Brown who had a great series, hitting .500. But yeah, Bobby not still a liver though. He died in 2021 at the age of like 96, I think. So incredible series for him. And this series was the first of the Yankees' 5 consecutive World Series titles. And by 1949, TV was beginning to take shape in the United States east of the Mississippi. People had television sets. It was kind of a historic year for watching the World Series through another following the World Series through another medium besides the radio and word of mouth. The franchises met again in 1952. The Yankees winning this one in 7. This one was the first year post Joe DiMaggio. And in this series, Mickey Mantle hit the first World Series home run of what would be a record 18 World Series. And this one was the 4th consecutive World Series won by the Yankees, tying the record set by them in 1936 to 1939. Billy Martin, number 1, had a game-saving catch at second base in Game 7 to preserve the victory for the New York Nine. There was a repeat matchup in 1953 between the Yankees and Dodgers. Of course, these are all Brooklyn Dodgers. And in this one, the Yankees were victorious again in 6 games. And it was Billy Martin again as a hero, hitting .500. 12 hits, then a record, tying a record. I believe this was broken in 1990 by Billy Hatcher of the Reds, even though it was like Paul Molitor maybe, because that was a Billy Hatcher has the average record, World Series batting average, but maybe like David Freese of the Cardinals has the record now for most hits in a World Series. But Billy Martin also with a walk-off RBI single in Game 6. His heroics helped the Yankees to their 5th consecutive World Series title, 1949 and 1953. The two teams met again in 1955, and this time Brooklyn finally came out on top. It was the Yankees were up 2-0 after the first 2 games at Yankee Stadium, and it was here we go again. But Brooklyn won 3 straight at home, and then the Yankees won Game 6. Then they thought, it's the Yankees again in Game 7, but it was not at Yankee Stadium. It was the Dodgers coming out on top. Yogi had a great series, but he could not help. The Yankees did not win. Jackie Robinson stole home in Game 2, which is a famous moment. But it was Johnny Padres, cue up Chuck Berry, Johnny Be Good, with the 2 complete game wins, and he got the World Series, the first World Series MVP award in this series. Yeah, Johnny Padres. Must have nicknamed John D. Johnny Padres, and he's probably like, who's that? A very famous pitcher in Dodger history. 1956, the teams met again. In this one, 2 words, Don Larson. The old man tells me about how in school, this was the one time that during, of course the games were during the day, this was one time during school that they wheeled in a television set to watch the completion of the Perfecto by Don Larson. Got the MVP, and the Yankees won in 7. 63, so it would be 7 years later they met. This time it was the Los Angeles Dodgers against the New York Yankees, and it was the series 49, 52, 53, 55, and 56 were all Casey Stengel World Series manager. 63 was Ralph Houck who came in, and they lost to the Los Angeles Dodgers. The old man tells me about how the Sandy Koufax tore his heart out, and that as he was bandwagoning the Yankees, the Dodgers held the Yankees to a 171 batting average collectively in that series. Mantle and Maris were humiliated, and it was especially Koufax who was just lights out. And in the 2 games he pitched, in the 4-game sweep, Drysdale also, and Padres again, plus their reliever Ron Perinelli was great too. So the Dodgers winning in 63. It was 14 years later when the 2 teams met again. This one was 1977. And it was the Yankees winning, coming out victorious in 6 games. It was Billy Martin this time as the manager of the Yankees, the one-time hero of the Yankees back in the 50s. And he was the winning manager in this, and it was also the first World Series win for George Steinbrenner as owner, as they took over in 1973. They lost in 76 to Cincinnati in a sweep, but they won this one big. You also had, here's another trivia, Bobby Cox, first base coach for the New York Yankees. I did not know that. Bobby Cox getting a ring that year. How about that, Andy? Cobby Box. But this series is most known for Game 6 at Yankee Stadium. Reggie Jackson, 3 swings, 3 home runs, tying the record for most home runs in a World Series game. Babe Ruth did it twice. Reggie did it here. Pablo Sandoval did it, and so did Albert Pujols. Mr. October hit .450 in the World Series with 5 home runs total. The Yankees won as Reggie doffed his cap to the fans after that third home run. And the Yankees won. In 78, the teams met again. This remains the last time that two teams met in back-to-back World Series. 1978, and it was a rematch. This time, it was Lou Piniella was clutch in this for the Yankees, and it featured some key matchups between Reggie Jackson again and Bob Welch, pitcher for the Dodgers, not the Fleetwood Mac one-time lead singer. But in Game 2, Welch whiffed Jackson to preserve a win with runners on in the ninth inning. And then Reggie would get him back. In Game 6, Mr. October strikes again in the seventh inning with a two-run homer to put the game out of reach at, I think, 7-2. And to give the Yankees their 22nd World Series title, it was Bucky Dent as the most valuable player, who had heroics in the one-game series with the Red Sox, Bucky effing Dent. And it was not Billy Martin this time as the winning manager. He was fired during the season by Steinbrenner, replaced by Bob Lemon. And Bob Lemon, with a interim manager, World Series victory, back-to-back for the New York Yankees. The two teams met one more time in 1981, and this was it looked like, again, the Yankees were going to come out on top. This was the strike season, and they had a 2-0 lead. They won the first two at Yankee Stadium, had it going, but it was the Dodgers pulling it out, winning 4 straight, and to win the series in 6 games. Mr. October hit .333, 1 home run. He was still good. But Mr. May, Dave Winfield, in this series, 0-45, hit 1 for 22. Terrible. The MVP was a 3-way split. Co-MVPs, Pedro Guerrero. She's been doing drugs with Pedro Guerrero. He needs to be stopped. For those of you who know the O.J. Simpson famous call to the police. Guerrero, Ron Cey, the Penguin, who a good nickname Andy would be familiar with. And then Steve Yeager, 3-way MVP. Game 6 was a 9-2 win at Yankee Stadium. And we had Fernando, had a Valenzuela, El Toro had won his one start, got his ring, and that was the last time that the Yankees and Dodgers met. Hard to believe. 43 years ago, they meet again. And this time, both teams have great lineups, power lineups, star power, quality bullpen. On paper, the Yankees' rotation is a little deeper. A lot of people are picking the Dodgers to win this series. And so am I. I think they're a little more versatile than the Yankees. I think they can get it done with their staff, their pitching staff. And Mr. Met has routinely talked about how the Dodgers are going to gag in October in years past. But this year, he was very confident about them winning. So that's been a tip-off for me. But the other thing is, earlier in this playoffs, the Dodgers, when they got past the Padres, I think that was their hardest matchup. When they got past them, like I knew it was going to be Dodgers are going to win this series because that was their hardest opponent matchup-wise. And so it's going to be the Los Angeles Dodgers. They've got the angel of Fernando Valenzuela looking out for him. He did pitch for the California Angels. And Mr. October, after his 1981 appearance for the Yankees was the last, but he would show up again the next year for the Angels in the ALCS. But Mr. October could not repeat his heroics for the Angels. They fell to the Brewers in that ALCS. And that was the last time Reggie was in October. But maybe we'll see him in one of the games. And I think it's going to be a lot of the mojo going right now for the Dodgers. The managerially, Dave Roberts, he's made some questionable decisions in the World Series, but he's been here before and he's won one. Aaron Boone, aka Baboon, sucks. He's gonna cost him in this. He should have been fired years ago. He's horrible. And Aaron Judge is the Yankees version of Clayton Kershaw. Some people are just meant to shine in the postseason. Some are not. Judge is one of those people who wilts under pressure, and he's going to have a Mr. May-like performance. Maybe not 1 for 22 like Dave Winfield in '81, but he's going to be pretty terrible in this series. So Judge sucks. Aaron Boone sucks. Shohei Ohtani, 50-50 man. He's been hitting well in the playoffs. He's going to continue doing it here. And he's going to get the most valuable player award in the 2024 World Series as the Los Angeles Dodgers win in 6 games. All right. It's going to be just like in 50. It's going to be kind of like 55. The Brooklyn Dodgers won. The black and white TV. All right. That's my World Series pick for 2024.